students, welcome back once again. We are learning the chapter number 3, that is our changing earth, and we have already almost reached to the ending section of this chapter. Here we are going to discuss about the remaining two exogenic forces, the work of ice as well as also the work of wind. Before going to start that the work of ice and the winds, we will recap what we have learned earlier videos. In the earlier videos, what we have learned about the some of the endogenic and the exogenic forces. Endogenic forces means what is the meaning of endogenic forces? Those which usually act from the inside, and those who act from the outside, they are referred as the exogenic forces. In case of endogenic forces, we have learned about the works of the volcanic activities. We have also learned about the earthquake, and in case of the exogenic force, already we have learned about the rivers and the sea waves. Now we will learn about the work of ice. What is the meaning of glacier? We will also see what is the difference between the glacier and the river, that we will try to identify, and how they are different from each other by their work, that we will discuss today. So first of all, we have to clear what is the meaning of the glaciers. When we are saying about the work of ice, it is associated to the glacier. Ice, those which are being used by us in our daily life, that is inside the refrigerator, what frozen in the frozen condition, what water bodies are found, they are not capable to do the erosion. Even for the preservation of anything, what type of ice we usually use, if we put them on the surface, they will not start the acting upon the surface, means they are not able to do the erosion as well as also deposition. But when it is found in the form of the glacier, means when the river they usually get frozen, that is referred as the glacier. And when it is in the glaciated form, obviously it has capacity to start the erosion as well as also some of the deposition. So what is the meaning of the glacier? I think it is clear to you. The glaciers, they are the rivers of ice. Rivers of the ice means when the rivers they remain in the frozen condition, they can be referred as what? They can be referred as the glaciers. So now the question is that what is the speciality of them? The speciality, at the time of knowing the speciality of glacial work, we will also see that they are, how far they are different from the river. The speciality of the glacier is that it is not forceful, it is almost in the frozen condition, and due to the frozen condition, it can create the huge bulldozing power, or it can create the it can extract the huge pressure on the earth surface. By the pressure of the earth surface, not by the force of the glacier, the materials they are being eroded, and this leads to what? This leads to the formation of what? Formation of the some of the hollows, and also create some of the depositional landforms. So side by side, we are also seeing that the erosional and as well as also depositional work by the glacier. So look at bulldozing soil and stones to the expose the solid rock below. So below the glaciers, which solid materials are there, they are being exposed, they are being eroded due to the extraction of the pressure by the glaciers. And when the glaciers, they usually start depositing the materials in the different parts along with its way, that is referred as the glacial moraines or moraines. What is the meaning of moraines or the moraines? They are the deposited materials, those which are being deposited by the glaciers, they are referred as what? They are referred as the moraines or moraines. Next one, at the time of erosion, they also create some of the hollows. Hollows means the depression, and such depressions, they are being filled up with the water during the time of summer. So when the glaciers they usually melt down, such hollows they may be filled up with the water, and that is referred as the glaciated lakes. So in this portion, according to your textbook, we will not discuss about the details of the landforms which are being created. I will make the video later on that will be specially on the work of ice, the different types of glaciers, those which are different types of landforms are being created, and it is almost related to the higher studies. That is why I am not discussed here. But for the general knowledge, how many types of the glaciers are there? The glaciers, there are the two types of the glaciers. One is referred as the continental glacier, another is referred as the mountain glacier. In our country, in Siachen, we can see, in India, we can see that the upper side or that the northern side, we can see that the location of glacier, that glacier is known as Siachen. Siachen, next one, Gangotri, that is also glacier. Example of the glacier, all they are example of the mountain glacier. Continental glaciers, they are found over the continents, and these are mainly found in the polar regions. So work of the ice we have completed almost. Next one, we are going to work of wind. What is the work of the wind? The wind, they usually do the erosion and deposition mainly in the arid region. The climatically, those which are the arid region, climatically those which are very much hot region, in this particular section we usually see that the work of wind. Why? Because at the time of blowing the wind, the velocity remain maximum, or the force speed of the wind is maximum in the desert region. Why? Because such areas it is not full with the human creature, there is less number of vegetation, so wind can blow very forcefully, and these areas, in these areas there is less frictional force, which can reduce the force of reduce the speed of the wind. So in this portion we are going to know in the desert regions how the wind they remain active, or how they remain the active agent, that we are going to know. So first of all, we will say that the most important landmass which is being created by the work of the wind in the desert region, that is mushroom shaped rock. What is the mushroom shaped rock? When the rocks they are mostly resemble to the pedestal, or that the upper portion it is not being eroded maximum way, but when we see that the when we usually see that such type of rock masses foot region, means the lower portion it is being eroded it is being eroded enormously, that is referred as the mushroom rock. So mushroom, I think you have seen in Bengali, these are referred as the bangechata. Mushroom, it is also it has the resemblance with this, that is why they are referred as the mushroom rock. So upper side it will be comparatively wider, and the narrower portion will be seen towards its feet, because the wind they are not able to do the erosional work in the upper side. So at the time of at the time of work of the wind, we have to keep in mind there is also the assistance by the sands, those which are found in the deserts in huge amount. So the sand which is available in the desert areas, they are also being carried out by the forceful or the very speedy wind system, which usually blow over the desert region. So in the desert region, what we are getting? In the desert region, we are getting that the formation of the mushroom rock, which is also assisted by the assisted by whom? Assisted by the sand particles. And such sand particles, we have to remember that sand particles they are comparatively heavier, so they are not able to fly, they are not able to be carried out by the wind system in the excessive height. So when the sand they are not being carried out by the wind system over the in the upper side, so automatically a rock mass which is present in its upper side will be less eroded. So it is the mechanism of the formation of mushroom rock. Next one, which is the most important thing, that is the sand dunes are found. Sand dunes are found in the desert region. What is the meaning of the sand dunes? That the heaps of the sand, those which are being created by the at the time of wind, they are referred as the sand dunes. So heaps of the sands, they are referred as the sand dunes. We have to remember what is the meaning of the sand dunes. Sand dunes means the particular thing, those which are being deposited or those which are being carried out and once again deposited, and they usually change their position also at the time of, along with the direction of the wind, they usually get deposited, and for the time being so they usually remain over there, and once again due to the forceful or that the very speedy wind system, we usually see that the movement of them, that is referred as the sand dunes. So when it stops blowing, the sand falls and gets deposited in low hills like structure. These are called the sand dunes. So I think you have got the line. When the wind blows, it lifts and transport from the one place to another. When it stops blowing, the sand fall and gets deposited in low hill like structures. These are called the sand dunes. So sand dunes, they are example of what? They are the example of the erosional as well as also depositional work. Why I am telling it is erosional as well as also depositional? First of all, we have to keep in mind that it is depositional because due to the stopping of the wind system, due to the less velocity of the wind, the sand particles, they are not able to being carried out by the wind system which blows over the desert region, hot desert region. That is why they are depositional. As well as also at the time of starting the blowing of wind in the higher speed or compared excessive speed, then it leads to the formation of what? Leads to the formation of the sand, breaking down of the sand dunes, those which has been deposited over there. They are being also carried out, the materials. That is why they are referred as the erosional. So erosional as well as depositional. Depositional, why I have told? Because the sand, they usually get deposited and they leads to the creation of this. And once again, such dunes, they are being affected by the high velocity wind system or very much speedy wind system. Next one, another depositional work we usually see in the depositional work is being carried out by whom? Carried out by the wind system, that is referred as the Lewis. When the sand particles, they are being carried out further location, means that the longer distance is being carried for the longer distance. It is being carried out by the wind system and get deposited beyond the or nearby region of the boundary of the desert. A plain landmass usually created by such deposition, that is, they are referred as the Lewis. So when the grains of sands are very fine and light, the wind can carry it over the very long distances. When such sand is deposited in the large areas, it is called the Lewis. So in the new area which is beyond the boundary of the desert area or so far from the areas, they are referred as the Lewis. Large deposits of loess is found in China. So Lewis, it is mainly found in where? In China. Now we are going to discuss about that the another phenomenon. What is the phenomenon? That is related to the capacity building of the wind system. Why the winds, they usually remain very much active in the desert region. Desert region, we know, already I have told you, that is, there is less obstruction, there is no such vegetation. That is why the wind can blow very speedy way, and or it is comparatively speedier in the desert region. Not only that, the climate is also assist to blow the wind system here very enormously, because in the desert region, very much hot desert region, we can also we usually see during the daytime there is huge there is also rise of the temperature, and that rise of the temperature usually create the situation of low pressure. And we know that from the high pressure region to the low pressure region, winds usually blow. So intensity of the low pressure region will increase, means obviously wind also blow in the direction towards the low pressure zone, and the temperature usually give the scope to rise above. We can also say that due to the temperature variation, very particularly during the time of the day or duration of the day, is very much affected by the very speedy wind blow. The wind usually blow over the desert region, hot desert region, during the time of day period, and it leads to the creation of the different types of erosional as well as also depositional landforms. So in case of erosional landforms, what we are getting? In case of erosional landforms, we are getting what? In the erosional landforms, we are seeing that not only the wind but also the sand particles which are being available in huge amount in the desert region, they also assist. I think It is clear to you?